Well, let's use that as a segue. Next is Don't Look Up, which I think it's a very divisive film. It's got a lot of people split. It's an interesting film. I think it's going to lead to an interesting conversation. But on that point, let's start with somebody else, though. Adrian, you haven't spoken for a while. What are your impressions of Don't Look Up?
Okay, well, on our previous episode, I spoke about how excited I was because Adam McKay is one of my favorite directors ever. And this was one of those instances for me where the trailer was light years better than the film. Not even necessarily because it's garbage or anything, but because it was so misleading. It's like going on a Tinder date and they used like photos from 20 years ago. And you're like, this is not what you look like.
Yeah.
And I mean, the trailer was just fast-paced, light comedy with this dark twist. And I was so excited to go on that roller coaster. And then it just ended up being a bit more of a merry-go-round. And I felt a bit underwhelmed. I'm going to believe that was intentional so that the audience could be brought back down to an actual kind of dark topic and reflect on themselves as human beings. I don't think there's no way that they would go, yep, we've okayed this trailer, and he would say that it was fine if there wasn't a reasoning behind it.
Well, I found that interesting because I got the opposite impression. Like, I feel like, so to your credit, the trailer made it feel like it's a bit more of a funny ha-ha film, and the trailer and the actual film was actually a bit more depressing. But like, I kind of went in going, oh, it's like a dark comedy.
Satire.
But admittedly, yeah, but satire's definitely. But I will admit, I think the film, it's never ha-ha funny. It's like, look at this ridiculous situation. There's no jokes. It's just a funny scenario. But the funniness seems to be taken out when it hits so close to home and it's real.
Yeah.
Before you go on, can I just check that we're on the same ground here? Because I spoke about this to someone today who saw it, and they didn't pick this up. So I want to make sure that I'm interpreting this film correctly. I saw this film. It's about COVID, right? Like, it's about like
It could be about so many things, like
or it could,
so many.
Well,
things.
my main thing was COVID.
It could be about the president.
Yeah, it could be about Trump as well, I guess.
It was,
yeah, but
that was pretty obvious.
Like Meryl Streep, very interesting. Like that, I think they took a safe route to avoid backlash, but very Trump inspired without actually going for Trump. Like, I think Jonah Hill's character clearly based on Trump's kids. Although I did,
that was like a
I did see a trivia thing where it said Jonah Hill said his character he imagined it as if the Fire Festival was a person.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my god.
But yeah, I took it like the comments coming, and there were like multiple, like there was a few lines throughout the film where like all the scientists agree. They're like, well, let's just sit and wait on it, but all the scientists are saying it's going to happen as a certainty. And they're like, yeah, but we'll just see. And then eventually they apologize, and they're like, oh, well, yeah, we see it as a threat, but how do we make money off it? Like, I felt that was very, and I think the main criticism was at the media and capitalism. But I feel like there are a lot of scenes that were inspired by like COVID. Like when they started saying like they called them uppers, I'm like, oh, that's anti-vaxxers. Like, sorry, that's anti-vaxxers calling them sheeple or whatever. But
you could literally, I think, interpret it whichever way you want. You could like take it that way. I looked at it more as a commentary on the elections and how easy it was for a total knucklehead of a president to manipulate people and appeal to an audience that isn't exactly the most intelligent, and then the civil unrest it creates. That was more of how I took it.
Yeah.
Because the presidential aspect was like so in your face.
I thought it was about climate change, and
shit!
There's
three different viewpoints.
I never thought of that, but that tracks. That
also Leo DiCaprio leading it is a huge indicator that it could mostly
because he's very environmentalist.
Like,
wow, I can't believe I never thought of that, but that all tracks. It may even track a little bit better than the COVID reaction.
I don't know where you got COVID from. I did not get that at all.
Well,
there
were a few points, especially with Jennifer Lawrence's character, like when they're like saying like, oh, well, you don't know for a fact, and they'll be like, no, we have peer reviewed, all the scientists agree. I did also think it was interesting. It reminded me of something in the news, but I can't remember what. But when they had the Bash guy, which is clearly Tim Cook from Apple, or someone to that, or maybe it's Elon Musk or someone, or Jeff Bezos, someone to that effect. But when they're like, none of their rockets and stuff, none of it was peer reviewed, it made me think a lot of like, it reminded me of something from the headlines, but I can't think of what.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Sorry, Adrian. We interrupted you before, but I just thought that tangent was important, and I'm glad I did that now because I never thought of climate change. Jesse never thought of COVID. I'm seeing now the other possibilities. It all sort of comes back to the same point, but it's interesting how it's different takes. Yeah.
For sure. That would have come up regardless, like that little tangent, which is, like, I thought all of the actors were so good. They really nailed their characters to a T. Cate Blanchett is one of my favorite people ever. She was just brilliant. So even just like from an acting POV, I think it's a really amazing thing to watch. I knew it was going to be dark. Like, I was definitely expecting that. But I just thought it was going to be more, like, just a bit funnier. I really liked Jennifer Lawrence in this. I really enjoyed her in this. It's the first thing I've enjoyed watching her in for a while. And Timothée Chalamet killed me. I thought he stole his little moments and his one-liners were my favorite little bits because he's just this perfect representation of, I don't know what, like Gen Z, I suppose. But, like, he was really cool. I liked him a lot. And I think that it definitely left me in a reflective mindset and looking at the way that humanity can never really actually just stand together or help each other, even when they are conflicted or someone has this belief or that belief. It's just so fucking impossible to get people at least on the same page of like, let's help each other, whether it's climate change or COVID or voting or whatever.
Yeah, it's that crabs in a barrel effect. Like, someone's always trying to pull someone down.
Yeah.
I think...
Exactly.
You mentioned before the, it's got some... It talked about the election. I think it sort of just came to me now as you said it. It really does touch on echo chambers, which was a major element of the election, where, people are only hearing kind of what they want to believe, and they're able to twist things to suit their way. Like, there's a scene, I can't remember the exact words, but Meryl Streep sort of twisting them like, oh yeah, when they're saying don't look up because they don't want you to look up because they're looking down on you. It's like, no, dickhead, they don't want you to, you don't want them to look up because that's where the truth is. Like, it's very,
Exactly. And then at the end of the film, the only fucking thing that matters in the end is those people that made your life memorable in the first place. And it's that moment where you go, what a fucking waste of time it was to, like, to
try.
I don't know, go out of your way to go out it. They tried so hard, but like to go out of your way to like hurt others or bring them down or do a fucking campaign when, excuse me, there is a meteor in the sky. That was very emotional.
That touches on my biggest criticism, and I'd really like to raise this. And
go for it.
I am loving how very recently, I'm loving and hating how politics and stuff is coming to a lot of films lately, and the ones that are very now. But like my problem with it is sometimes they don't. I don't like when a film is like, here's the problem, and they don't offer solution. Like Black Klansman did it well, where I think they spent the whole movie setting up the problem with the rise of KKK, and then they end on here's how it's affecting now, and how it was like how it influenced the election a little bit. And I was like, that's a good way of doing it. But something I don't like, for example, in Joker, which is a great film. Before anyone comes at me, I love Joker. But the whole point of like the Joker movie is kind of like, this is how crazy society is, how bad it is. And it sort of ends, but it's like, I already know society's fucked up. I want you to tell me what we should do about it. Well, I already know it's fucked up. And that's the problem with this movie too. It's sort of showing like the dangers of echo chambers and dangers of
forgetting like how to be a decent
and media manipulation and all that. But I really wish it ended on a point where it's like, this is what you can do. Or some sort of educational aspect with a character. Maybe one character could represent the audience and they could learn how to look past it. Or I wish there was some element to that. Like, sure, it ends on a kind of a funny sci-fi moment and we get to see Meryl Streep's butt. But which apparently DiCaprio is very upset about. Like he says,
it's a body double.
She's film royalty. It's a body double.
It's a body double.
But apparently, like DiCaprio, like he's actually uncomfortable with even that. He's like, she's royalty. You don't do that. Which fair enough.
Yeah.
It is Meryl Streep.
But she's really down to earth. I'm sure.
She had no problem having fun in this movie, which is a side of her I don't think you've ever seen before. So go Meryl Streep. It's awesome. Can't believe she showed a new side of herself. Like that's great for her. But I think, I kind of wish they had more to being like, this is how things suck. And I wish there was just a little bit extra after it being like, this is what you can do. Like, it doesn't have to be a happy ending, but you know what I'm trying to get at? It's, yeah.
I get you. I think that's where that, like, McKay comes in, is that it doesn't have to end. Even if it's pure comedy, it doesn't even have to end with like a solution. It's just like, here you go, served it on a platter, fresh, take it however you want. Like, I don't know. I think everything was intentional, but if that's how you're left feeling, it's completely valid, and I see.
Yeah, like I'll admit, it's not a movie's job to make me feel good. A movie is allowed to. A movie like sets out to make you feel a certain way, and if it accomplishes it, then it's done its job. And I think the point is you're meant to feel uncomfortable a little bit. You're meant to be a bit concerned. So, technically speaking, Adam McKay did his job with plenty of ticks, flying colours. But I don't want to feel not good. This movie felt not good. This made me feel bad. The movie hurt feelings, not good. I don't like that.
Feelings hurt, not good. I think on Jesse's point of climate change, I was just thinking like, I mean, you really, because Leo as well is like his whole life is about it. It's a huge, it's supposed to be a slap in the face that wants you to wake up. That last shot after the meteor like destroys the earth when the credits are rolling, and you see just useless fucking trash like flying through the air that you look at and go like, what? Why the fuck are we just like polluting our brains and our planet with this shit? Like, I feel like that was a commentary on it, and it's supposed to make it hurt.
Can I just say, because like I haven't had anything, I haven't had the chance to say anything about give my take on this yet.
It's your turn. Take the wheel.
So my take on this is, I don't know about you guys, but I was fucking bored. I was so fucking bored. I enjoyed like the first third of the movie, and I was, when they're trying to get into the president's office and tell the president what was going on and figure out, oh shit, how are we going to explain this or whatever, and initially they laughed it off and weren't taking it seriously, and they tried to go into the media and they weren't taking that seriously as well, and I thought that was all interesting and good, but then after that it just kind of tanked for me, and it came across as bloated, pretentious. I felt I was getting whacked over the head. Like Adam McKay was like, "This is important," and I'm like, "Yeah, man." It's like I get it. I'm not directly against the message, but there's a better way, more efficient way of doing this than getting a hammer and smashing someone over the head with it. I liked Meryl Streep, and
I will admit. I just want to say to your point. I think you raise a good point where when the first media tour stops, the film stops. The momentum of the film, it comes to a halt, and it doesn't sort of match the trajectory of the film. So, yeah, I feel like the film has a struggle to try and get back up. For me, it does eventually get back up there, but it takes a long time to do that. And I think that does fuck up the momentum of the film. So I agree.
It never did that for me. I mean, I liked Meryl Streep as like this Trump-like president, and I did like Jonah Hill, but it got to the point where they were starting to annoy me, and I was thinking, these types of characters you don't want to, they just kept doing the same thing over and over and over again. I felt like, because Jonah Hill was playing like a douchey son of the president. Yeah. I get that, and he's good in like small like spaces. Like one of the funniest parts for me in the whole movie is a scene where he just chucks the water and the what is it, like the nuts or the chips or whatever he chucks them or whatever it is. And that's one of the funny scenes of the whole movie. Like it just got to the point where they're both those characters were really starting to grate on me, and I got to the point where I wasn't really liking any of the characters in the movie. The only character I kind of liked, and the only character I felt the only actor I felt kind of put off a pretty good performance for me was probably Leo. I'm being honest. Like Leo was the only character for me that I was actually engaged with.
When he lost it at the news desk,
that
was amazing.
Great scene.
He was like all the others. I was just like, I thought, Kate Blanchett actually, I thought she was all right. Her with Tyler Perry as well. I thought they were good. Kate Blanchett actually got a bit of criticism for her role in that. I've actually thought she did all right. Yeah, I think she played like that Fox News blonde hair, kind of.
She did her job. She did her job.
Like, it was good.
So man. Guys, to be honest, I was just bored. Like the whole Ariana Grande thing, take that out. I was so fucking bored.
Yeah, she actually. I was
so bored. I was like,
I don't know.
Take that out. Like I was looking at my time waiting for this movie to finish. I was just so bored throughout for me. It just felt pretentious, bloated, and I feel like if you cut this movie by like half an hour and change around a few things, rewrite it a bit, it could be a solid movie. And I'm not totally against having a political satire that climate change is important, climate change is bad, but you don't go so over bloated and heavy handed with it. Do you know what I mean? It's and that's just what it felt like to me. So
I think look, the problem with Meryl Streep. Oh, that's not a good way to start a sentence. The problem with Meryl Streep, but the problem with Meryl Streep and Jonah Hill's characters is actually you can say this about a lot of characters in the film, but particularly them. They are not really characters; they're more like caricatures. Like they're not real people. Like like even Trump, you could probably have a real conversation with him if you try. I'm sure it'd be hard, but it's possible, In this, like, they literally operate one way. And in the first scene when they do meet them, it is really bizarre because the way they are reacting is very non-human-like. And I know there's a line with like, oh, you know how many end-of-the-world talks we get? But, like, that is the risk with doing characters like that. You do risk alienating your audience, not just for political reasons, but like also because if they don't feel real, people won't relate to them. That's my problem with the movie that shall not be named that we saw a few months ago. It's like they're not real, like their way. It's like people don't react to stuff that way, So I get that, although I also felt the frustration the characters felt. I think it was by design.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it still makes you feel frustrated.
They got insufferable, and I understand what Adam McKay is trying to do. I understand it's like they're supposed to be, narcissist, self-absorbed idiot. I get that, but it got to the point where it just annoying me. I was really annoying. I did love that small part that Ron Perlman had where he's got the meteor coming down and he pulls out a gun and he starts shooting. I did love that one.
Funny.
I did love that part. So
that was good.
To be honest,
that was a lot.
I felt Jonah Hill was hilarious in this. I know his character was annoying, but he had so many good lines, and I don't know if you caught it, but you guys noticed there was an end credit sequence. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Jonah Hill at the end, he's the only man surviving. Straight away takes out his phone. Hey guys, what's up? I'm the last man alive. Like, comment, subscribe.
Oh my god!
It's like, what a fucking douche. Like he played a douche really well. But yeah, like
I was like waiting for more stuff like that. Like that's why for me it was a letdown because I thought that there would be 50% comedy, 50%,
Yeah, I feel like he was the only character that had jokes to say.
Yeah.
Like Leo never made me laugh. He made me feel a lot of emotions. He had a great performance, but
I thought Jonah Hill was the funniest character, but for me, it was just I think he got used too much, and I think his douchiness became a bit too much. Like, dude, just like I get what you're trying to do, but like the way he's treating Jennifer Lawrence and stuff like that, I just got too much at a certain point. Like how his character's so douchey, and I don't know. Like
the thing is like, the sad thing is, I think in reality, that's how some people feel about the Trump kids. Other than I forget his daughter's name, but she actually seems like she knows what she's talking about. But but the guys, every time they start talking politics, like, dude, shut up! Like, you only got this job because your dad's the president, and he barely even knows what he's doing. Sorry, I won't get too political, you guys. Sorry, I don't mean to be that. But look, one thing you can't take away from this film is it does feel like an Adam McKay film. Love it or hate it. At least that was consistent.
That was consistent.
Yeah, like I kind of have nothing else to say. I kind of
can I just say on that point?
Yeah.
I was just gonna say on that point. I feel like he balanced it better with Vice, the satire, the comedy.
I agree.
He balanced it so much more better, and I thought Vice was fantastic. I feel like he balanced it so much better in that film. And I know this kind of takes it like way over the edge, and I guess because it's not based on a historical event technically. So,
Jesse, I was gonna say I reckon how you said you'd prefer if like a half hour was cut out because they had so much star power. I would not be surprised if they all had management negotiating for this much monologue time and blah blah blah, which might have pushed it a bit over the edge.
Yeah,
so
maybe I was surprised Jennifer Lawrence didn't have like the first quarter of the film. She had a lot to do, but like after that first media thing, she didn't have a lot, and that really surprised me. I agree with you. I prefer Vice way more than this. This is a really weird film. I think there's a lot of really talented people doing a lot of good work, but I don't know if the sum of all the parts. I don't know. It's not. This is the type of film that's good to go to Netflix because it's less of a financial risk for a studio to put this in the cinema. But that's the great thing about streaming services. You can make weirder films and put it, even if it costs $1 billion with Leo and Meryl Streep and everybody. So like as much as I think that's why, Matrix went to HBO Max. So I think, while, we are getting some not so great films, I'm also grateful that we can see, big name talent experiment like this.
Yeah.